Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. If you're looking to better understand the capabilities of Dynamics 365 marketing from Microsoft, you're in the right place to get an overview of how it's positioned, how it's licensed, and the key product capabilities. We'll explain how you can elevate customer experiences, and we'll show how you can orchestrate personalized journeys across many touch points to help strengthen customer relationships and hopefully deliver great results. Specifically today, we will cover three things. We'll cover an introduction to Dynamics 365 marketing and why this should be important to your business or your customers' businesses. We will walk you through some examples of how you could use Dynamics 365 marketing in your business through demonstration scenarios. And also, we'll then talk to you more briefly at the end about how Companion can help you set up and use this tool most effectively. Just before we begin, in front of your eyes through the um, interaction with this webcast, you should start to see some poll slides right now. And hopefully, the first poll there will ask you, are you primarily a Microsoft partner from a Dynamics or a non-Dynamics perspective? We'll also ask what your primary role and function is within your organization, and we'll also ask you where you are in the world today. And I would like you to just briefly answer those questions, if you could. Give us some indication of who's on the call. Straight away, we've got kind of 70% classing themselves as consulting technical, 20% marketing, kind of 10% sales. So kind of got a 70-30 split there. 75% are Dynamics partners, 25% say they're end user customers. We'll try and make this relevant to all. And then a really strong mix across the UK, Western Europe, and Central and Eastern Europe from a where you are perspective. So that's great. Thank you very much for helping us understand those things. And you can probably see the other presenters joining me today. I've got two of my colleagues from Companion, Milan Nikolic and Raimondas Makielevicus. It's Milan today who will present you with the demonstrations, and Raimondas who will give you the details on how best to engage with Companion services later in the webcast. And you will see more of those gentlemen very shortly. So let's think about the agenda today. And we'll start with the basics. What exactly is marketing in the context of the Dynamics solution? And then we'll move on to some of the scenarios and the examples that show how you can effectively use the product to deliver the basics of email marketing, audience segmentation and customer journeys. We'll move on to event management, and finally we'll show some reporting and metrics. The product is comprehensive, shall we say. We won't get a chance to show everybody everything today. That's just not going to be possible in this time frame. Once you've seen the product overview, we'll explain how it's licensed, priced. We'll discuss what that means in relation to quotas, limits, specifically with regards to contacts and interactions, which we'll explain more about as we go along. What is marketing? There's no way that I could provide a concise definition for this. It'd be folly if I tried to do that. So if you look it up in the dictionary, it's purely defined as the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. When we asked our experienced marketeers inside of Companion for their thoughts, they summed it up a little bit differently and perhaps more concisely for me. Then, kind of what they were saying is that it's about being able to say the right thing to the right audience, which is our partners, through the right channel at the right time. I think the key point here is that in today's highly interactive digital world, the right time more often than not is real time when it comes to improving the customer experience. We'll try and show from a technology perspective today how you can target and prioritize the right customers, segmenting your audience, how you can track those customers along the journey across different channels, and then finally, how you can engage with those customers in real time and respond differently based on their interactions, which is kind of key to the concept of real-time marketing. As we go through, I'd like you all just to think back to where you were a few years ago and how your working life was. And I think back to the daily commute, the constant business travel, the way the world was working. And the truth is, as customers and as consumers, our worlds have changed. that typical day that we all used to have, it's significantly different for many now. Because of that, the related touch points that we interact with from a marketing perspective are also going to be different. So the trends we've seen around working from home or hybrid working and the generational shift to online buying rather than physical retail, they're unlikely to be reversed anytime soon, if ever. We've also seen declining loyalty shown to brands based around ineffective customer service or mistakes made in marketing, where digital saturation or untimely promotions are made to the detriment of the brand. The simple scenario here that I can use to highlight this around right communication, right channel, right time, we can highlight it by thinking about the inverse theory. So imagine every year you buy the same computer game from the same company for your child's birthday. Excuse me. Then imagine in an online world where several days later you receive targeted advertising for that game with a discount if you buy now. And that would be the wrong communication, the wrong channel, the wrong time. And that's what online advertisers are really striving to avoid. So interacting with brands, right time, right channel, right communication, and kind of key. So are the strategies and tactics the same ones that used to work for businesses in the old world of work going to work in the in kind of today? And I think if you're purely going to rely on old strategies and tactics, it's not going to have the same impact when looking to engage with people whose working practices are different from what they used to be. So if marketing strategies and tactics need to change to reflect the new world of work, then also many organizations are considering a change in technology to help with their needs here. And obviously, we often see these things go together hand in hand. And that's where Microsoft are positioning the Dynamics 365 marketing product. It's designed to help companies manage audiences and engagements across all of their required channels in today's working environments. Of course, the pandemic also saw a reduction in marketing budgets. Traditionally, marketing budgets had always been the first of the budgets to be cut during times of crisis and the last to be restored. So when marketeers, chief marketing officers, when they proved that they could actually do more with less, you curbed spending on events, curbed spending on agencies and advertising budgets, then it's no surprise that they haven't returned and likely won't return to levels that we've previously seen. I think the other thing here, and this is really sort of fascinating and important to me, the reliance on third-party data is about to end. And if you're currently unaware of the cookie apocalypse, as it's known, and there is a link at the bottom in the handout that will provide you some more information. This is where Google and other big tech firms are phasing out the usage of third-party cookies. So those little bits of code that track users from website to website that can then be used by advertisers to paint a more complete picture of you as a user and as a visitor to many websites that usually seem to have no affiliation with each other, but you still get targeted advertising. So they're going away, which is a great thing. Well, Google is slated for them to be gone by the end of 2023. So that's a great thing from an online privacy perspective as a consumer. But all of the advertising, the tracking for digital marketeers will need to be rebuilt into something more resourceful and something more sustainable. So from the end of 2023, there's going to be a need to directly capture more data about individuals so that you can have more one-to-one conversations with the customer, understanding their path to engage with you or their path to purchase. And that's quite a big thing when it comes to kind of understanding data in your environment. So there's two different lines of marketing that we're going to need to discuss here today, both B2C, business to consumer, and B2B, business to business. And when we look at the Microsoft solution, it can handle both of those in the same or in different ways. And like it or not, basic email marketing is still a core weapon in the armory of a marketeer. The tools at their disposal, they now need to go far beyond a fire and forget mindset when it comes to creating emails when you're trying to drive audience engagement, but given it's at the start or a core part of many a customer journey. And it's also relevant in B2C and B2B. We're going to use that today to basically start the demonstration and the scenarios and the walkthrough that we're going to try and kind of guide you through. So what we're going to try and focus on is the customer journey. and about being able to react and respond in real time, and also highlighting opportunities about data enrichment, and how marketing teams could use these tools to own the data about their customers and move away from a reliance on third party cookies, and kind of the old data lists and kind of the old world of marketing work. And in order to do that, we're going to try and drive it as much as we can through demonstration. And this is where I first reintroduce my colleague, Milan. Milan's there. And Milan, just before we start, we say there that email is at the core of a lot of things. So could you show us how to quickly draft a mock-up mail using the email designer?
Yes, of course. I will now go through that part. So here, I'm already in the list where I can see all the active marketing emails. Now I'm going to create a new one by pressing this button. When you initiate creation of new record, new marketing email record, you will see that you can pick one of the pre-built templates in your database, or you can just keep it and create from scratch. For this demo exercise, we prepared already one template, and we will start by using that template. I will just confirm the selection, and this is how actually the email template editor looks like. So you see, we have now all the contacts from that already used template loaded. You can see that we have different sections, so you can use any layout that you want. You can have multiple columns in one section, whatever you want, and you can insert these elements. So the most popular are probably text box, buttons, images, and code snippets. You can see here that we have one button, and I will quickly just show you that this button is actually associated with one URL. So whenever somebody presses this button, he will be redirected to this URL. Also, here we can see that we have inserted one field or column from the record in our database. Actually, we are inserting here the value from the contact record. If I look here, what we have also have as a tool, we can use, for example, content blocks. Imagine that you define something that you can use on more of your emails. You just define it once and reuse it again and again. If you want, you can also define A/B test. So, for example, you can define two different versions of the email, and then you can test it. You can see which one performs better. If I go here, I will see that I have options to preview this email. So I will see how this email actually looks like. I can see, for example, that I can also test how it's going to be shown on different screen sizes. For example, on the mobile portrait or maybe desktop screen. Beside that, you have also this option. It's called Litmus Preview. This is the third-party tool, which is integrated with Dynamics, and it allows you to take a look how will your email look at different email clients. So whenever you try to preview this, it will actually going to consume one of your Litmus credits. Next, what we have on the top, you have option to check content. So whenever you're working, you need to check the content. Do you maybe have some errors before moving to the next steps? Also, we have here two also interesting options. One is the accessibility checker. When you click here, it will actually, the system will go through our content of our email, and it will make some analysis. For example, in this case, we see that we have some bad color contrast, and he will give us some suggestions how we can improve it. Also, what we can find here is option to use spam checker. So if I run this function, it will actually also analyze the content of our email, and it will make assessment what is how big is the risk that our email will be recognized as spam on different email servers. In this case, we have low risk, which is good. And whenever you make some change, you should again run the spam checker because it can change. For example, if I remove the subject from this email and I run it again, I will see that this score will actually going to increase. It will not be low. It can be maybe somewhere in the middle of this green bar. And when we are finished with the configuring and editing the content of the email, what we can do also, we can perform the test send, or we can use these send now options. So with using this send now, we can send this email to different people, and they can receive it, and they confirm that the content of the email is correct. Also, when we finish with configuring our template, the last thing that we need to do is that we need to make sure that we click on this Go Live button. That means that we are going to publish this template, and only the live records will be visible in the customer journey. That's why you should not forget that the last step, when you finish with configuring the template, you should go here and click on Go Live. So Chris, we can continue with the next topic.
Excellent, thanks Milan. Just quickly go here. So that's really great, thank you. Template with content blocks, preview on screen sizes, and preview on different emails there. I think you mentioned the Litmus preview. Probably worth mentioning, you said that's a third-party tool. You get 100 included in a marketing implementation per month. I think it's something like $63 for an extra 1,000 per month. There are additional costs with that previewing on different email clients, but really great to see there the kind of the spam scoring and the flags for accessibility issues, something that as a brand you can get knocked for in the world today, and rightly so. So having that and making sure that your emails are low spam, highly accessible is a really important thing. We talked here about at the start, I talked about identifying a need to target and prioritize the right customers. And maybe you knew, Milan, it's my birthday this month, so that's why you chose this scenario. So if we think about B2C and we consider retail as an example, it has relevance to B2B contacts too. How can you show us basically how we could start to potentially segment an audience to send that email to, and what the next steps would be?
Yes, of course. So the next step that we're going to show you, let me just share the screen. So Chris mentioned that the starting point, when we define some content or emails, we need to define the audience, who actually we want to reach. And here, under segments, if you click on the new button, you will see that we have by default 2 different types. The first is the static segment, and the second is dynamic segment. The static segment means that actually you define this list once, and the members of that segment will not change unless somebody manually add or remove some person. And dynamic segment means that you define some criteria once, and over the time, whenever some person, the contact record in your database match that criteria, he will become member of your segment. Let's now create new segment. You click on that button, it will show you this next screen. So the same thing here, you can either pick one of the existing template. So for example, I can say everybody who attended some event, or maybe you see if I scroll down below, I have a lot of them. For example, open some email, or maybe register for event. It's also interesting. So you have a lot of those, but you can always start building from scratch. And now we are going to skip. We're not going to use any template. We are going to build from scratch. You see here, I have the editor. It's the first thing. I will enter some name as the beginning, name of the segment. And there you will see these different query blocks. Actually, this is how we can make the filtering. The first option that we have is called query block. And actually here we can make some filtering based on the data in our system. Usually we use the main entities like contacts, or maybe you can use accounts, any related entity. But in majority of cases, we use some fields from the contact record. The next option that we have are behavior blocks. Behavior blocks are actually filters that are based on some events which happened. So for example, some email was opened, or maybe some email was sent, or maybe you see, if I scroll below, some website was visited, or maybe some event was registration for some event, or some form was submitted. anything you can pick, and you can just see the results. And the next option that we have are segment blocks. This is useful in case that you want to combine 2 or more segments. So you can then pick here one segment, here the second, and you can define the connection between them. I will just now remove this because I wanted to show you actually the most used one. It's actually querying the data in the database. I will now pick one field. I will just type, for example, to find the birthday field, and then I will see which options I have when it comes to filtering. I will say, for example, birthday is, I can here pick any date from the calendar control, but I will now show you one other option how you can filter this. You can click here and you can go and click select partial date. You see now I can actually pick like this filtering. I can say, for example, show me all the contacts which have birthday on 13th of October any year. So that's what I wanted. When you finish your criteria, you can click on estimate size, and you will see, you should see the number of persons who match that criteria. If you're new to the CRM world and you're not so proficient with this CRM filtering, you can use always other approach, and that is you see here when it asks you the question, who would you like to in this segment, you can just type. So for example, you can just type something like contacts with birthday on October 13th, for example. And if you press enter or just select this, what is showing here, it will translate your query, your expression into actual filter. So you see, we actually got the same results. And when you're finished with your setting up your filters for your segment, the last thing that you should do, you also need to click on go live, because in order to use your segment in the customer journey, you need first to make it to change to live status. And then after it's live, on this next tab, you will see all the members. You will actually see the list of the peoples who match your criteria. And this is one simple segment, and we will now continue with the next topic. So Chris, can you please continue with the presentation?
Yes, indeed. Thanks there, Milan, for that overview. So just quickly recapping on what we saw there, kind of segmentation, either static or dynamic. I love the natural language query, 5 birthdays on October the 13th, and the demo data is that kind of year. But what's really interesting here, so I guess we talked about kind of data and enrichment. I also mentioned that it was my birthday this month. I'm not going to tell you what year. We don't give away our private information, too much of it online. That's not a good thing. But as a marketeer, there is a need to try and capture that personal information about people. So for me, the interesting thing here, I received an email voucher from a chocolate manufacturer. Asking me if I wanted to buy some chocolates for my birthday at a discount. Now, as demographics go, I am probably not segmented into the type of person who would buy himself chocolates for his birthday. That's just not me. So I didn't download the voucher, and that's how it was. It was that kind of simple. And this got us thinking then about the customer journey here, and thinking about how an organization could look to try and enrich its database. If there had been a follow-up from me not downloading that voucher as part of a customer journey, asking me why, I probably would have freely surrendered the information that it's because I buy them at Christmas and I buy them for my wife. Now that's 2 pieces of information there. That if there's been a, sorry, you didn't want to take us up on the offer, do you want to hear from us about Halloween, possibly about Christmas? Just by asking a simple question as to why I didn't download that voucher, the company could have enriched their marketing database. Now that didn't happen, but that's all in relation here to customer journeys. And so Milan, when we talk about the engagement path, and we talk about kind of interacting with customers, not so much in real time, but potentially in real time, I think the customer journey designer is something really important that we could show here.
Yes. So like Chris said, the central place of CRM module of the whole solution is actually this customer journey. Here, I'm on the list of active customer journeys, and I will create new by pressing this button. When you start to create new journey record, the system will offer you to use one of the pre-built templates. So for example, we have one template for announcement, we have another for monthly newsletter, but for now we are going to skip and we will create from the blank editor. This is the beginning point when you start to create, but let's now quickly just go on General tab, just to show you some important settings. Here, you should define the start date and time for your journey and end date and time and journey, and of course the time zone. On this side, you have also option to define the minimum consent level. So for example, if you want to engage only the contacts that have already previously given you the desired consent level, then you can here define also that as an additional filter. So only those who are already giving you that consent will be part of this journey. The rest one will not be targeted. They will just be excluded. Here on the top, we have also option to define for this journey, is it recurring? If you mark that it is recurring, then you will see some additional options. At the beginning, whenever I work with these journeys, I prefer to do one quick save of the record, just to have that record in my database. Then I will come back to this designer editor. So you see we have one swim line. So at the beginning, you need to define your audience. Who are we actually targeting? If I click on here on this button, you will see on the right side that I can start either with some segment, or maybe the trigger for this journey can be that somebody submitted some form, or maybe that somebody have updated his contact information. But for this demo, we are going to use this segment option. You remember that we said that only the live segments can be visible inside the journey editor. So that's why we can only see here the one that is currently live in our system. And that is the first point. After we define the target audience, we need to go to insert new elements. You see, if I click on this plus icon, I will see the list of all the possible elements that we can insert. Usually, the journey should start with some email. So for example, I will pick that element, sending an email. You will see on the right that now I can pick one of the templates that are in my database. I know that this is the template that I wish to use. I will just confirm it here. I will see here, I can also check to see the preview. Is it that I actually want to use? Yes, it is. And the most important thing here, when you pick one email, you have option to define the schedule. Here, you will see that you have option to define desired days of week and desired time of the day for delivery of your emails. If you prefer, you can also use these options. It's called automated scheduling. That means that if you enable this, the system will actually decide what is the optimal time for sending your messages based on the previous interactions. And then you don't need to worry about that. The system will do that for you. After we have inserted the first element, we continue with the next one. And you see now I prefer to use some some logical condition next after this. I can, for example, use this if-then branch. After I pick this, you see that now I have two branches, the yes pet and the no pet. If I click on this condition, first I need to define what is the role. And here I will see inside that I can use only this birthday template. Why? Because in the previous elements, I only have that element. So I cannot use anything else. And this is my condition filter. I can say here, what is actual desired result? So I can say, if this email has been opened, for example, some link has been clicked or maybe has been delivered. In this demo, I will going to use this has been opened as a filter. I will confirm this, and then I can move on to the next steps. So if I click on this plus, I can then pick the next element for my journey. I will now use this element, which is called wait for. And you will see that here you can define some duration. For example, I can say wait for 2 days. So if I say like here, like this, that means that I will wait for the 2 days before next action in the journey. For this notepad, we are also going to insert one of these wait elements, but we are going to use this order. It's called wait until. I will now confirm the selection, and I will, for example, select that I want this to be delivered. I want that this should stop this path until some date and time. For example, until next Monday or at 2 p.m. For example, this is just an example that we are going to use. And then after this condition has been met, then we continue to next element. And for example, we can have different emails based on this previous condition. If somebody open our email, then we are going to send to them a unique email template. If they haven't opened the email, then we will send to them different email template. Here, I will again pick the element, send an email, and again, I need to use one of the templates. And I have prepared already here one yes pet second email. I will just pick it. I can also define, as we saw before, desired time for delivery. And for the notepad, I will do the same. I will insert another send email element. I will pick the other one, the other email that we have here. And that will be, let's say, a conclusion of one relatively simple journey. The last thing that we should always do when we are working with these journeys, we always should make sure that we perform this check for errors, because system will tell us if there's any issues that we need to resolve. And the last thing, when you're sure that you configured everything how you want it, you should click on this Go Live button. With this, you're actually scheduling this journey to go live, and you're actually activating it. And then based on your date that you have defined here, the journey will go live. If you enter some date that is in the past, then the journey will start immediately. So Chris, we can continue now to the next topic.
Yeah, thanks, Milan. And really interesting there, branching in the customer journey, if this, then that type functionality. I'm loving the wait until somebody's birthday has happened, or wait for next month to start before you follow up with an email, or if the link has been clicked, if the voucher's been opened, send a thank you, we hope you enjoy spending it, all that type of scenarios in there. So that's kind of the customer journey designer. And at the start of that, and we've taken you through a business to consumer scenario here, and I kind of tried to highlight that I would freely have given more information myself back to that company to help them understand when better to target me marketing with regards to the chocolates at the start of this. We thought, how can we also help you translate that into a business to business scenario? I'm pretty sure there's not many people on here who send their customers offers of chocolates. They may send them chocolates on their birthdays, but offers of chocolates perhaps not. And then we thought about, well, event management might be one place where we often use email, and we have whole kind of concepts of a journey in order to get people to attend an event. And so we thought about kind of event management. We thought about the event management tool, and then we started thinking here there could be scenarios where the main invite gets sent out to a predefined account and contact list. That's pre-segmented, so we're segmenting the data. When people have registered, you could configure an auto response. As the dates start approaching, 2 weeks to go, you could send a confirmation email. 1 week to go, send the itinerary the day before. We're looking forward to seeing you. And also the potential to kind of then use the email marketing or refer a friend code or refer to a colleague offer to also help enrich and extend the database. And we thought this would be a really good point to kind of show you the event management tool inside Dynamics 365 Marketing. And so Milan, if you are ready with the next piece, back over to you.
Yes. So here we open already one event record, and we'll quickly show you what are the main elements of that record. So here, you can see here, beside event name, the first thing that we need to define is actual event type. And here we define that it's a webcast. Here you can see also the active number of registrations for this event. Then you need to define the event time zone, event start date and time, event end date and time. If it's a recurring event, then you will have this option enabled, and then you will see some additional configuration points. On the right side, you can define, do you want to stream this event? In case that you enable this to yes, default streaming provider will be Teams webinars. Microsoft has a partnership with another platform for webinars. It's called On24. And that platform has also out-of-the-box integration with Dynamics 365 marketing solution. If you enable this control here, you will be able to configure the Teams meeting options from the CRM side. So, for example, you see I can change any of these settings. For example, I can disable reactions for this meeting. And whenever you make some change here, what you need to do, you need to make sure that you click on this Sync with Teams button in order to synchronize all the changes. If I scroll down, what I can also see that I have also option to define a wait list for this event. So in case that you need, you can do it, but it's not mandatory to be to enable this. If we move to the next tab, we can see that we have agenda tab. This feature, which is called allow registrants to create their own agenda. If it's enabled, that means that the users or the persons who are applying for your event can actually apply for individual sessions. So they do not need to apply for the whole event. They can just pick the sessions that they're really interested, and then they can only participate to those. Here you can see our sessions on calendar control. So you can see what we have here defined as example of some sessions. You can see that we have 3 days, and each day we have different sessions. If I scroll down, I will see again the grid view of these sessions with their details, and I can see the session tracks. In case that you want to group similar session into tracks, you can do that. For example, we here created 2 different session tracks. One is Power BI and the other is Power Platform Apps. And then the participant can analyze the most interesting tracks for them, and they can only see what sessions are there. They do not need to analyze the whole agenda for your event. If we scroll down, we can see that we can also define speaker engagement, the details about the speakers and the sponsors. If we move to the next session, we will see that we have here event URL. We can define registration end date if we want, and we can enable multi-attendee registration if you want to allow that somebody can register several persons at once. Also, there is an option to create custom registration fields. If you need it, you can make some questions, and that will be exposed to that registration web page. This is example when we used out-of-the-box Dynamics portals. And this page will be configured immediately like this. So you will get this page already, everything will be configured. You don't need to do anything. You can, of course, use your own website, and you can host the forms on your website. But this is example when we're going to using the portals. Here, as you can see, I can see different sessions based on the days. I can change the date filter, and I can see all the sessions. When I can even switch to these session tracks, and that will load me 2 different tracks that we have. So we have Power BI session track and Power Platform Applications session track. I will now move to these sessions. And for example, this user can select only these 2 sessions. And the next thing that he or she should do, he should click on this Register Now button in order to go to the next step. And here, it's mandatory to enter your personal details and to enter the CAPTCHA code for confirmation. And then by clicking on checkout, he will get actual registration for this event completed. If we go back on the registration attendance tab, we can see event registration. So we currently have 2 active registrations. We can also see event check-ins. After the meeting is over, we can analyze here who actually participated, who actually shown on our event. And here we can see the contacts who canceled participation for our event. If you go to the additional information, we can see some general information regarding event and also some financial information. Also, it is possible to define external and internal team members. For those who prefer to work with business process flow, you can always go and navigate through these stages, and then you will see these reminders of all the steps that you should complete in order to complete whole process for organizing one event. And this is just a short introduction because there are a lot of things in events, but this is something that we thought that could be the most useful for somebody who want to learn more about events. Chris, can we continue with the next topic?
We can indeed, Milan, and thanks for that. I put you under some pressure to say, just do a brief overview of event management when it's comprehensive, as kind of we said at the start. So thanks for the really concise overview there. You know, hotels, hotel management, speaker, all of that stuff is catered for in there. And I think just to wrap, at the start, we talked about a few things. We said, and need to target and prioritize the right customers, and that's the segmentation piece. The need to engage with customers in real time, and that's the piece around responding based on the journey or event registration and so on and so forth. And we also said there was a third thing in there that we wanted to show people today, and that's tracking customers along their journey across the different channels. So reporting on the insights that are available, and the data that the marketing teams can consume. So Milan, with your final demo of the day, can you help us and show us some of the reporting insights that are available?
Yes. So here I already opened one journey, which is already running. And this is actually the most interesting insight in the whole system. This is a customer journey insights. You will see here that for each element, we can see detailed statistics. So what actually happened, how many people get to this point of our journey. You see, I have selected this send an email element, and on the right side, I can see some details. So I can see here how many emails were delivered, how many unique opens we have, how many unique clicks. If I scroll down, I will see that there is an option to open delivery KPIs and to view these details. Also, just to mention that you have option to create a new segment based on these options that are showing here. So actually, it's possible to create every new segment based on these options. I will now open the View Details tab, and then you will see a detailed overview of all the interaction that we have. So for example, here we can also see click-through rate and open rate. If we scroll down, what we can also see, we can see the top links, and we can see also from which location are coming our customers. So on this map, we can see from which location actually we have the most results. If we click on the delivery, we will also be able here to see that which are the actual email recipients for our emails that we have sent. We can also analyze the click map. Actually, if you take a look here, you can see which links are the most popular. So for each of these links that we have here, you can see the total clicks, the unique clicks, and click-through rate. If we click on interaction page, what we can see here is the timeline with each interaction that happened for each user who participated in this journey. If we click on the open time, we will be able to see the times when these emails were opened. The next option that is maybe typical for you to analyze some insights in the system is actually on the contact record side. So you see here, I'm on one contact record, and I open this Insight tab here. You can see that also I have this interaction tab. Just here it's different, that this is interaction for all the events or any kind of interaction that we have with these customers. It's not only based on one particular journey. Here we can see also all email interaction with this customer. We can see in the timeline the exact date and times when something happened. We can also see here which emails we sent to him. If we continue, we can also see some web interaction. So for example, when somebody visited our website, or we can analyze some event interactions. So for example, have that user maybe register for some of our events. Also, we can also see these email open times. So you see here, we can see exact date and times when this user will actually, you have here hours, you see, you can analyze however you want, because with more data of your customers, then you will be able to better understand what is the best moment for interacting with them, and you will then have better results with your campaigns. So Chris, can we continue with presentation?
Awesome. We absolutely can indeed. Thanks, Milan, for all of those demonstrations today. It's really appreciated. Nicely done. So there's the reporting insights that are available. A brief summary. Keep the questions coming in the Q&A. Hopefully we've answered the ones that have been kind of listed on my screen over there. I'll let Milan provide a little bit more technical input into those as needed. We have only just started scratching the surface there. Lead scoring, we didn't cover. None of the form capabilities, hardly assets, social posts, all of those things. I think this shows that, although this is a marketing tool, you need to either be a power user of Dynamics, or you need someone available who's got the technical knowledge to be able to support a customer through their implementation, their configuration journey here. You can imagine that if you get this wrong at the beginning and you don't consult with an organization or set it up properly in the first place, the challenges that you're going to have further down the line. So time's restricted us from showing more, but we'll talk to you about how you can engage with us more moving forwards. And we will now move on to helping you understand how a customer can license this, what the associated costs are now that we've seen the product. And first off, Dynamics 365 Marketing is licensed per tenant. That's the first thing you've got to say. The standard license, and it's shown in US dollars here, is for those customers who don't already have a qualifying license to attach to. Now, to attach a license, it's available at 50% of the cost, but you must already have 10 users or more of one of the qualifying licenses. And the most common of those is the CRM licenses, so Sales Professional, Sales Enterprise, Sales Premium, alternatively Customer Service Professional or Customer Service Enterprise. And if required, you can also attach to Supply Chain Management, Finance, Commerce, and Microsoft Relationships Sales Solution Plus. I should have read it off the slide there instead of trying to remember what it was. I understand that we've got many people from different regions on this call. The link that you see on your screen there, and it's in the handout, that should redirect you based on your location so that you can see the pricing in your local currency. It's my understanding that the ratios remain the same in each currency. So the attached license should be 50% of the local currency cost of the standard license in your region. So a production environment as a standalone app is $1,500 per tenant per month, and the attached license is available at $750 per tenant per month. And what's also interesting to note here, only a standard license includes Dynamics 365 Customer Voice, so the Microsoft Forms Pro-driven feedback feature. If you attach a license, Customer Voice is not included, and it must be licensed separately. Now, that's fine if you're attaching to a license that is Sales or Customer Service Enterprise, or alternatively, if you've also got Field Service, Customer Insights, Human Resources, or Project Service Automation licenses, because they also include Customer Voice. But if you're attaching to Supply Chain Management, if you're attaching to Finance, Commerce, Microsoft Relationship Sales Solution Plus, or Customer Service Professional or Sales Professional licenses, you wouldn't be licensed for Customer Voice through the attach method. So there's an additional $200 per tenant per month cost there that may be applicable if Customer Voice was required. See the separate pricing page on the Microsoft website. It's /customer-voice/pricing as opposed to /marketing/pricing if you want the local currency equivalent there. I guess another thing here that it's also important to understand You need to license each Dynamics 365 environment separately. One license covers one Dynamics 365 environment. So if you require additional instances alongside your first production environment, these are available at a discounted cost compared to the standard or attached licenses. So if you require an additional production instance for a second environment or a non-production instance, these are available at either $500 or $250 per tenant per month, irrespective of whether the first license is standard or attached license. This pricing is the same. I think probably should say whether you use a non-production or a production app, the app's interface and functionality will be the same. It's identical. The non-production license simply allows you to have a separate, fully functioning app in a non-production environment, so you can test your configuration before implementing it in the production environment. We've talked a lot about when you see marketing in action, you can see how there's contacts in there and there's interactions in there. So, more into the detail now about what you get as in the standard and attached license from a usability perspective. Both of those ways, standard or attached, when you procure the initial app, brings with it a total of 10,000 contacts and 100,000 interactions as standard. So let's define kind of what a contact and what an interaction is. A contact is an entity, and by that think contact, lead, or account. Contacts and accounts or leads that's engaged in a marketing interaction. And then an interaction is any personalized message sent to one of those contacts, be it through Dynamics itself or through other channels that are integrated. So if you're using ACS as your communication services for voice, video, chat, if you're using it for SMS, or you're using third-party SMS providers that integrate with the platform, then if that interaction is done through the customer journey orchestration piece that we showed you by way of demo, that then is classed as an interaction against a contact. Now, an active marketing contact, it's only counted as a contact entity in the Dataverse, so towards that 10,000 limit, if the contact, by contact, account, lead, or contact, let's just be kind of sure here what we're talking about. If the marketing contact has received a marketing interaction within the last 12 months prior to the current date, irrespective of the total number of interactions, that contact is counted towards the 10K limit. So once a contact hasn't been part of any interactions within the last 12 months, it's no longer counted as an active contact. And irrespective of the number of interactions with a contact within any month, they are counted as a contact only once and only once during the month, even if you use all 100,000 interactions on one contact. Obviously not recommended. Also, with regards to environments, be they production or non-production, all marketing contacts and interactions used in a tenant are counted regardless of which environment is involved. So don't be thinking you can set up a non-production environment to do a test to 200,000 contacts and 500,000 interactions. And then when it comes to production, you can scale that down. Not that you would really want to do it that way around, because Microsoft don't differentiate between non-production and production when it comes to these contacts and these interactions. If you need additional contacts and interaction packs, Microsoft are very good with their reporting, showing you exactly how many you are using in order to help you get your pricing and your licensing right. They're available on a tiered model. Worth noting, they're pooled at the tenant level, so the total need for an organization spans across all production and non-production instances in use. And it's possible to purchase additional interactions in packs, so without contacts, and it's also possible to purchase additional contacts packs, which also come with additional interactions included. So you can buy interactions standalone or additional contacts and interactions. The contacts packs come with contacts plus 10 times the number of contacts as interactions per month. So in the same ratio where initially you can get 10K and 10K and 100,000. The additional packs start at 5K and 50,000. So 5,000 contacts, 50,000 interactions, 10 times. And that's $250 per pack per month. Tiers 2 to 5 come with 50,000 contacts and 500,000 interactions. However, If you want to access tiers 3 to 5, so tier 2 is $1,500 per pack per month, and then the price goes down on the tiering level. But obviously tier 3 here, which is the 1,250 a month, tier 4 is the 750, tier 5 is the 500 a month. They have a minimum purchase of 10 units per pack for tier 5, 5 units per pack for tier 4, and of 2 units per pack for tier 3. So if you want an additional 100,000 contacts and 1 million interactions per month, tier 3, minimum 2 times by 1,250 would be the right kind of SKU to attach here on the quota and the limits. And don't forget, contacts are annually rolling 12 months prior. The interactions is a monthly total. So interactions is on a monthly combined total. It's really the contacts that you probably want to get right in the first instance when talking to your customers about this. I also said you could apply additional interactions separately. The same concept applies. Also 5 tiers, tier 1, 50,000, and then tiers 2, 3, 4, and 5, 500,000. But the same, again, $225 for tier 1, $1,350 per pack per month for tier 2, and then tiers 3, 4, or 5 have minimum 2, 5, and 10 purchase levels. The pricing is all listed there, and also the link through to the web page, which is actually quite clear when it comes to this. It seems like it might be difficult to present this, but there's a very nice kind of layout in there that will explain how it works. So finally on this, remember all marketing contacts and interactions used are pooled at tenant level and accounted regardless of whether or not they are used in a production or non-production app within any environment. And with that, and with the licensing and positioning out of the way, I will hand you over to my colleague, Raimondas Makielevikas, who's going to now explain to you more how to go about engaging with Campagnol. Hello, Raimondas.
Hello everybody, and thank you, Chris. Milan, that was really impressive presentation. A lot of features, a lot of new possibilities, but actually it is just one workload we can present for our customer. This is just one. Microsoft is developing a lot of different kind of solutions which could be very quickly deployed and covering different areas of business requirements. So we have marketing, we have field service, we have project operation, we have sales, of course, and customer service, a lot of things. And Microsoft is really empowering those things with new features, adding new possibilities. Before our webinar, I just looked into Microsoft Release Planner, and I looked on the recently released features. For marketing, it recently released 40 new features. In sales, 49. In customer service, 88. That's really a lot. But I just looked in Business Central. It's 268. So it's like an astonishing amount of new changes. And I would say it's easy to understand that we cannot be perfect everywhere. ERP providers or BC partners, they should focus to their own area and be perfect there. But in order to cover more customer needs, more requirements, we should start cooperate. And how we could in Campagnol support you. Could we jump into another slide, Chris? And actually, we in Campagnol could give you support and to be up to date with new Microsoft solution. We could together we could talk about new possibilities, new opportunities, how we could cover more workloads, more business requirements from our customers. Let's imagine that you're going not just with ERP proposal, but we are going with other business areas to discuss with the customer. You are covering much more business requirements. You are securing that customer from competitors. It is really good opportunity to use our expertise and to gain really good prospects from your customers. And how we can ready to help you? So We, as experts in Dynamics 365, we ready to support you in implementation of new Microsoft applications. We are ready to provide technical consultations. We can be part of your development team to deliver some technical complex developments. We can have some smaller, very complex things developed. So actually, we have a really wide variety of services with whom we can apply to the customer, with whom we can solve customer requests and to cover more customer needs. So I hope that this presentation about this marketing detailed possibilities give some ideas, give for you some questions. So please come to us with your questions. Please contact us either personally through LinkedIn, either through our service email, which was provided in material. So we are waiting for your questions. We're waiting for new projects together to deliver something interesting and valuable for our customers.
Yeah, thanks, Raimondas, for that. And I think just to wrap up and to be clear, one of the questions that's come back is, are Companion now offering services direct to customers? No, this is purely a service for our partners. So access to people like Milan is absolutely access for partners only. It's on a resale model, and it's working with you as partners to help our customers, mutual customers, benefit from Dynamics products. So I just want to make that one 100% clear as we close this webcast. So that's it for today. I think all of the questions that have been put in there have been answered. Thank you very much for some of the excellent questions within there. Thank you very much to Milan for doing the demonstrations, to Raimondas for helping everybody understand where there is a need to engage with Companion and how you can go about that. Thank you all for attending, and thank you all for your time today. I appreciate it's really valuable, and we do very much appreciate you taking the time in the last hour to join us today to listen to this. Have a great rest of the day. Take care, everyone, and hope to see you all soon.